I remember when I got started in real estate, I didn't know what I was doing. I was here in the Bay Area in San Francisco, Oakland, and I was putting out bandit signs. I knew one day I was gonna like do some kind of deal. I was gonna have some kind of rehab going on. I had friends in the business. I was in some mentorship. I was getting coached, but I was trying to find that first deal. But one of the things I would always ask is if I could come and go to some of my friends' rehabs, and I would see, that they would flip. They would put this money into these rehabs, and they would barely make any money. So, just some things I wanted to talk about here as I'm getting ready to run some errands and playing with my dog. So if you hear her barking in the background, that's going on. But I want to talk a little bit about the mistakes that that a lot of investors make when they're investing, not just virtually, but even when they're boots on the ground. And I think the number one mistake is not having a plan. When you get into a project, you need to have a plan of action. And I don't mean just like, oh, well, me and a couple of guys are gonna, some of my friends are gonna go fix this house up. No, this is a business. This is a 10-month, 8-month, maybe even a 12-month business. How are you going to raise the money for this business, this plan to put this job together? How are you going to get more deals, when you're actually trying to get this one job done? So some of the mistakes that I've seen is a lot of investors don't plan enough, not just plan like, oh, I'm going to get this rehab done, like who's going to do the work, but planning the scope of work, who's going to pick up things, like just having a lot of people get into the business, they buy a house, and once they buy it, and it's not, this isn't horrible that this happens, but just something to think about is, you buy it and then all of a sudden you're like, all right, cool, now time to do the rehab, and you've never done a scope of work together. Put one together, you've never raised money, or maybe you bought the house with your own money and things go over budget. That's another big mistake I see is investors using their own money. I know it sounds smart to use your own money, but it's not smart to use your own money, because when you use your own money, number one, you could actually be letting your money work for you. You could be getting better ROIs out there for your money, either lending that to other investors or putting it in other areas, in other businesses and things like that. But number two, if you do go over budget, you need to know how to raise money, because that happens a lot in this business. And so you don't want to be stuck with the option of thinking like, well, I'm the only money source. I think the third biggest mistake that I see a lot of investors have is they don't have a good, solid boots on the ground team. Especially if you're virtual, you got to have a good team. And sometimes that might mean I got to sacrifice a couple years to go to this area that I want to invest in, because maybe I'm in an area like California where, the numbers just, maybe there's more competition. I don't want to do my first deal with a number like that, or whatever the reason is. But no matter what, having a good team, having a good realtor, having a good contractor, having good partners, if you're brand new to this business, joint venturing with somebody and getting that experience and learning from them that can help out a lot. So there's many ways, that you can, and then also I think another big mistake, the fourth biggest mistake I see, is that people don't know what they're making until they sell the house. You should know what you're going to make before you buy the house. You're not going to realize the profit until after, but you should know what you're going to make before you buy the house. And I think the fifth mistake that people make is they just don't believe in themselves. So they don't do this business. They don't put the work in to find the deal. They might not believe that they can raise the money. They might not think that there's good contract, whatever. There's a lot of doubt that happens for them not to take action. So if you struggle with any of those things, I created a case study. You can click the link below up under here. And I created a case study for, talking about a property that we rehabbed that I personally did not walk the property. I wasn't a part of it, and we were able to do it without lifting. None of us on our team lift a hammer, and we didn't use any of our own money. So if you're interested in learning more about that property, like I said, click the link below and we'll get that over to you.